Couple of changes on this team, anchored by last stone thrower Benoit Schwartz. They've got Yannick Schwaller now throwing third stones. He is calling the game. Sven Mikkel second. Pablo Lachat is their lead. Of course, Peter de Cruz no longer on this team, taking a step away from competitive play. Team Schwaller still discussing this shot. There are a few options they can look at. I think they do want to rearrange some of those stones at the front. That blue stone frozen on top of the red is not very favorable for Team Schwaller, especially since it's behind that center guard. Of course, Team Epping right now sitting shot rock and possibly second shot as well. Looks like they decided to peel off the guard, try to simplify this end rather than playing a more aggressive quiet weight shot. See Yannick Schwaller, the sweeper, picks that up right away. A little bit uptight, but threw really solid weight there. Shooter rolls out just like they wanted, and John Epping's going to go up and ask Matt Cam to replace that guard. If you're just joining us, this is draw number 5 of the Curling Stadium Martensville International, and we do have an international team featured in our live stream today. Team Yannick Schwaller from Switzerland, joining forces with Benoit Schwartz, playing against John Epping out of Toronto, Ontario, the Least Side Curling Club. Matt Cam does a good job there. Puts that guard right back, almost exactly the same spot. They could once again peel off the guard, but they are having another discussion, see if they want to rearrange those rocks in the rings. They have elected to go up and peel that guard one more time. Once again, well executed by Yannick Schwaller. Ten teams in the men's event. There is a women's event as well. 12 teams, 4 sheets in play. We'll keep you up to date on the scores, but if you're joining us on Curling Zone YouTube channel, on CBC Gem, or whether you're just following the scores on curlingzone.com, it's great to have you following this early season event. Still in the summer, but the ice in great shape. We've seen 5 draws so far. The stones curling about 4 feet, sometimes 5 feet, depending on the team and the players. who are throwing the rock. Very consistent curl. I think the players have liked the conditions so far. John Epping puts that guard right back. I think now, with that guard being a little bit tighter, perhaps Team Switzerland will try to rearrange the rocks in the house. You're getting down to the last couple of stones now. Skip stones. You do have to make a move. I think they're going to play the run back now to try to move some of the blue stones. First look at Benoit Schwartz. He's been a very successful fourth stone thrower. Drives the blue into the rings, spills every rock, and that catcher in the back of the four leaves that red stone in the 4-foot shot stone. It is fully open, so you expect John to make a hit, maybe roll a little bit, and force Team Schwaller into a draw for one, maybe drawing against 2 or 3 stones. In a little bit of a roll behind the corner. So it will be a draw against 3 for Benoit Schwartz. A little bit of pressure on the last stone thrower here in the first end. Now the teams did have practice before the game and did a draw to the button for last stone advantage. The team Schwaller did win that, so obviously they have a good sense of what draw weight is. Conditions can change though as you play out the first end. Typically the ice will keep speeding up through practice and into the first and second ends, but I expect them to be very close on this draw. So final stone, first end. Team Schwaller, that's Benoit Schwartz throwing the 4th stones. Sweepers pick it up right away, maybe sensing it's a little bit down. Now they back off a little bit. They look much happier now as this rock is coming towards the rings. They just need to be full 4-foot. And they do even better than that. Onto the button, it's a single point for Team Schwaller, but mission accomplished for John Epping. They got the force and...
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
Well, we're back. Second end, if you're just joining us, this is the curling stadium, Martensville International. Yannick Schwaller against John Epping. Team Schwaller got forced to a single point. Made a nice draw to the button against 3 to take 1. Team Epping now with last stone advantage. First rock from Team Schwaller, their lead. Puts it into the rings. That's Pablo Lachat, new member on this team. Team Epping wasting no time. First opportunity with last stone, and he's going to ask for the corner guard. From his lead, Scott Chadwick. Scott, a new addition to this team. You might remember him playing with the team skipped by Scott McDonald out of Ontario, played in a couple of Briars over the last few years. Center guard being asked, or maybe slightly off center since that first draw was slid to the side of the 4 rather than onto the top of the 4. John Epping's going to follow this rock in now, try to sit behind the guard in front of that red stone, the shot stone right now. But we talked about the tournament having 10 teams. There's 3 international teams, actually. 2 from Switzerland, the one you're seeing here, skipped by Yannick Schwaller. Michael Brunner skipping the other Switzerland team, and then from Japan, the team skipped by Riku Yanagisawa. You don't recognize his name. They swap positions. Similar team as last year, but Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi. Yama, as many people know him, throwing third stones on that team. The teams are playing a 5-game preliminary round. Every team will play 5 games, and then the top 5 teams will make the playoffs. The playoffs are Monday. They start with, we'll call it a quarterfinal, but it's really the 4 versus 5 game, and then the winner will move on to the semifinals with the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. Team Schwaller 0-1 heading into this match, their second game of the tournament. They lost their first to Yanagisawa of Japan. They will play Tyler Flybrink. Their country mates, Mikael Brunner and Cody Hartung, to round out the preliminary round. Team Epping, they had a come-from-behind win against Steve Lakoff of the Saskatchewan. They were a featured game in the very first draw. Team Epping was down 3-0 after 4 ends of play, but scored 5 unanswered points in the back half to take that game. They've, of course, got Yannick Schwaller tonight on our featured sheet. Tomorrow they'll play against the new-look Mike McEwen team, also out of Ontario now. Dallin Myers and Colton Flash. And hopefully they'll try to put some more wins on the board and make that 5-team playoff. Pat Jansen was being asked to come around that guard with a softer weight hit, make those Reds move in the rings, but comes out tight to the guard, wrecks on it, opens things up a little bit. Other teams on the men's side. Colton Flash, Mike McEwen, they're leading the standings 2-0. Kyler Kleibrink, Dallin Myers, they're at 1-1, along with Yannick Schwaller of Japan. Winless so far, Steve Laycock 0-1. This team, Yannick Schwaller 0-1 as well. As well as Michael Brunner 0-2, Cody Hartung. None of the other men are in action tonight because we've got 3 other games that are all from the women's side of the draw. We'll give you updates on those scores later on, but it's Sung Young-ha from Korea against Christy Watling from Manitoba, Daniela Jentsch from Germany against Lorraine Schneider from Saskatchewan, and Chelsea Carey of Manitoba against Nancy Martin of Saskatchewan. So those are the other 3 matches in play. Here's Yannick Schwaller, his first stone of this end, the first third stone. They decide to play a hit on that blue stone. Maybe roll it towards the middle. Schwaller sitting 3. But all wide open. Definitely an opportunity to make a double, maybe even a double and roll behind the corner guard. They did throw that first rock, Team Epping, as a corner guard, and could have an opportunity to make use of it. We hit the inside of this red, could make the double and get a bit of a roll. Matt Can, he's played with John Epping for a number of years. There's the double. In fact, it's a triple and gets a half roll, maybe a piece under that red stone. Really nice shot. Team Schwaller would like to roll this rock away from their own red guard. Roll it to the side of the 8-foot. He'll make the hit and roll back for Team Epping a little bit harder if you can get a roll away. If you just left it along the 4-foot line, then it's a very short roll for Team Epping. So they do a good job. Rolls a foot and a half to the right on your screen, and Team Epping probably throw a quiet weight shot. Maybe try to get the roll back towards the center behind the guard. Scott Chadwick sweeping it on the straight side to try to keep the line, and look at that roll. Right behind that red stone. Well executed. So force Benoit into run back. It's a pretty short run back, so you'd expect him to make it, but what he really wants to do is make it a dead nose run back so that he's guarding the stone that he is running back. Benoit does make the run back, but he doesn't get it right on the nose, so the red stone is exposed. John can make the hidden roll back behind the red stone. He does that, will leave Benoit with pretty much the same shot. He could play it quiet as well and get enough finish to roll a little bit to the left behind his blue corner guard. That'll make it a little bit more protected. If he does that though, Benoit might decide to just draw around his own stone and force the issue that way, but either way, either roll is good. There's the hit, gets a little bit of the roll to the inside, the left side of the screen, so it's a little bit more buried. Team Epping does have last stone in this end. Team Schwaller was forced to a single point, drawing against 3 Epping stones. Benoit Schwartz made it right on the button. So it is 1-0 Team Schwaller. Benoit's going to play a similar shot that John did. Quiet weight hit. They're going to try to roll it behind their red stone. They can make it perfectly. It could force Team Epping into a draw for 1 point. See the Swiss sweepers going back and forth with who's sweeping straight side or curly side. That's Sven Mikkel going straight side. Now the roll right behind the red stone, and I think that's going to force John Epping to draw full 4-foot for the single point. You might see a different strategy if this was later in the game. In the 7th end, if in a 1-point game, you might see John Epping try to run back blank. Because going tied coming home, you're at a big disadvantage. But so early in the game, second end, just down by 1. The safer play is just try to take your 1, make this draw to the 4. There you go, John Epping. Let's see if he's got his draw away. He put Benoit under lots of pressure in the first end. Benoit had to draw full 4 against 3. Put it right on the button this time. Team Epping needing the same. Looks pretty good. Full 4-foot for Team Epping, so they tie the game at 1 after 2 ends of play.
From any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
We're back in the second end of this featured game. Team Schwaller, Team Epping, 1-1 tie. Team Schwaller with the last stone advantage. Scott Chadwick for Team Epping, they put up the center guard. Team Schwaller now trying to draw in behind. Both skips, looks like they've got their draw weight under control. John Epping under pressure. Needed full forward to take his 1 point in the second end. He made that. Benoit Schwartz, the fourth stone thrower for Team Schwaller. He was facing 3, needed full 4 and hit the pin. If you're just joining us, my name is Jason Chang, bringing you the action from the ice to your device. And of course, all of this made possible by the Curling Stadium streaming technology. We've got all 4 games on the ice, live streamed on the Curling Zone YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, whether you're on YouTube or you're on CBC. Good evening from Martensville. We talked a little bit about the women's draw earlier. There are 12 women's teams. 4 international teams represented. 6 of those teams making the playoffs. Some of the names in the field include Chelsea Carey. She's undefeated, 1-0. She's on the ice against Nancy Martin. Kunji Gim leading the way at 2-0 on the women's side, along with Clancy Grandy. Jen Jones and her new team with Mackenzie Zacharias. They won their opener, so they are sitting at 1-0 as well. So back to our featured game. See Team Schwaller getting 2 red stones behind this Epping center guard. Pat Jansen being asked to run it straight back. It looks pretty close. Can he make the double? Yes, sir. Made it look easy. Now Blue with 2 in the rings with a center guard out in front. Really nice to see a big crowd in the Martensville Curling Center. See them behind the glass. Quick update on some of the other scores. Sun Young Ha of Korea taking 2 in the first end, leading Christy Watling 2-0. They're in the second end. Daniela Jentsch of Germany, they are trailing Lorraine Schneider of Regina 2-0. They are playing the second end as well. Back to our game, Pat Jansen, a quiet hit. Makes the takeout. Shooter rolls away. He would have liked to keep the shooter in the top of the 8 area. This really simplifies the end for Team Schwaller. The more rocks that are in the center of the rings, or in front of the rings, near the center line, the more dangerous it is for the team without, or the team with last stone. So Team Schwaller will now have a much more simpler end. We can play this hit, probably make the double, stay on the side, and the only thing that can cause them any trouble now is that center guard. This is the third end, so they might try to blank this one, Team Schwaller, and try to take Hammer into the even ends. 8 end games here, extra ends if required. For teams with a coach, they are able to call a timeout if desired. We saw that earlier in one of our earlier draws. Expect Team Schwaller to try to just hit and stick. Stay out in the rings, make it difficult for Team Epping to roll behind the center guard. That would be the easiest way to negotiate a blank end here. Well executed. At some point, these rocks are going to get higher and higher if you make nose hits. If that happens, Team Epping will try to make that roll behind the center guard. If they try to roll it right now, they might end up behind the tee line, so they have to be careful if they're going to make the roll. They want to be in front of the tee line if they're going to try to roll behind the center. Nose hit once again from Yannick Schwaller, and you're going to see John Epping now. I think they've tightened up the ice, which means they're going to play the roll. As we mentioned, as you keep hitting the rocks on the nose, it travels higher and higher into the rings. The angle gets better for the roll behind cover because you can stay into the top of the rings. So Scott Chadwick trying to sweep it for curl. And it just off nose, rose a little to the outside. Expecting Benoit Schwartz to try to just nose hit again. Important to stay in the rings though, so right on the nose they'll be biting the rings, or a little bit onto the inside. They want to force John Epping to play a hit. If they roll out, John can have free draw around the center guard and could get forced. So really important shot here. Gets the hit, but rolls it almost onto the button. They were trying to keep the rock straight. They were straight sweeping to try to get less roll. Now that they've rolled it so far, this hit and roll becomes much easier for John Epping. He only needs to roll it a foot and a half to get it behind the guard. That's much more easy to control than the 6-foot roll that he was looking at earlier. John Epping, his last in the third end, without hammer. Soft weight. There's the hit. There's the little roll inside. Gets it. 2/3, maybe 3/4 buried. Well played. It's decision time for Team Schwaller today. Take on the blank, it's not easy. Or do they play a quieter shot? Make use of the curl and just tap it back and take your 1 point. We'll get a good indication about where he puts this broom. The Swiss team, their final stone. Benoit Schwartz throwing the last stone. I think they've decided to play it quiet. Make the hit, try to roll it all the way out, but doesn't get it to roll all the way out. It is a 1 for Team Schwaller, their force, and it's 2-1 after 3 ends of play.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
It's 2-1, Team Schwaller leading Team Epping. We're in the 4th end of play. Team Epping with last stone there, throwing blue at Scott Chadwick, their lead. We've seen this play a couple times now. Team Epping with last rock, going to the corner guard. John's always been a very aggressive curler. Puts a lot of rocks in play typically. Oftentimes leading to some highlight reel shots near the end of an end. John's been known for making a lot of those. I think his game has developed quite a lot over the past 5 or 10 years. Developed a little bit more finesse as well. That's why he's one of the best teams in the world still. 17th ranked in the world with this new lineup. Of course, most of these points are coming from previous season. Of course, with personnel changes on most of the teams, individual players were taking their individual points from those prior teams into this season. But as they play more and more on the tour, they'll be accumulating points from their current lineup. We'll see how this new year shapes up with all the lineup changes. Some of the big ones, of course, the Jennifer Jones team breaking up after the Olympics. Jennifer Jones skipping the team now with Mackenzie Zacharias. Caitlin Laws, she's still with Joss Peterman. But 2 new players. They're playing out in Oslo this weekend. Big tournament there. I think that guard overcurled for them. I think they wanted that a bit more towards the center line. Double off-center red guards protecting the shot stone, which is just on the back of the floor. Pat Jansen being asked to make a draw around those off-center guards, try to sit in the sort of top 4 area. Curling Stadium, we are streaming every single draw, every single match. It's 14 preliminary round draws. We did 2 yesterday, opening day on Thursday. We've got 4 today. We've got 1 more draw tonight. That's 8:30 Saskatchewan time. If you're out in the Eastern time zone in Ontario and Quebec, that would be 10:30 this evening. And then 4 more draws Saturday and Sunday before we head to Championship Monday. It's Labor Day here in Canada. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and the Championship final. Well, that draw from Pat Jansen ends up 6 feet short or so in front of the rings. They wanted that fully into the rings, probably into the top 4. Gives Ben Michel a chance to go wide around their guards, try to get another one positioned this time, hopefully in front of the tee line. Top 8, top 4 would be perfect. Slips a little bit deeper than they wanted. I think the sweepers were a little bit fooled by the speed. They thought it was going to come up a little bit lighter than that. It's getting a little messy for Team Epping, so they're going to look at peeling these guards, maybe running the red in. You can spill a lot of rocks here if you go straight back. Just like that. Straight back and boom. Got the right guy throwing this, Pat Jansen. He can really bring the heat. He's a big guy, throws it very accurately. It's just a bit tight, I think, all the way, and they get the single peel. Yannick Schwaller looking to move the guard over a little bit. Maybe be in between that blue and red guard rather than stacked up straight behind the 2 reds. I think they're thinking about that because Team Epping can use their own blue guard right now. They can run that blue in and make a double. I think that curled a little bit more than they were hoping for. Epping still looking to try to move a couple of guards out of the way. They probably can get all three of them moving if you hit it right, or maybe even drive one of the guards into the pack of red stones in the rings. Now Cam playing the center line out. Red onto blue, but drives it by the two red stones in the rings, leaves the guard out in front. Doesn't look very good now for John Epping. He's coming late into this end now. He does have last stone, but those two guards are definitely favoring Team Schwaller, and you can definitely put another rock into the rings top of the floor and really cut down the scoring area. Right now, there is still a draw to the button for John Epping. That in-turn side, that clockwise rotation. But Team Schwaller is going to try to come in now and take a lot of that draw away. Yannick Schwaller, his second vice stone. This one looks to be a little bit heavy. You stop that anywhere top of the rings and it's helping you. Anything deep and it's doing you no good. So a lot of margin for error being short. Even a tight guard and it's not bad, but now this might give John Epping a chance to get out of this end. He can go in first now. The other option would be to try to double peel again, but with a double peel, you're likely getting forced. Hard to get two out of it. So you try to go in now, set shot stone, and maybe squeeze one more in there on one of your last two stones. Where will this rock stop? Comes right to the back, red stone frozen. Maybe a few inches deeper than they'd like. I think they would have liked that to sit in the top of the button rather than right on the T line. Will give Benoit Schwartz a chance to draw down to it. He might even be able to draw down and move it an inch and sit shot stone. Just an inch here, an inch there could make a lot of difference in the positioning. So opportunity now for this Swiss team to really choke off this end. Even if he just freezes, sits on the top of the button, second shot, Team Epping will have very little chance to get 2 points. You've got the force. If you can ever move the rock that Matt Cam just threw a hair and sit shot stone yourself, you are in a great position to steal. This rock, the weight was nice, but it didn't curl enough. Maybe just misswept there. Mismanaged, because they could have tried to carve that in a little bit more aggressively with the sweeping. And instead it hangs out a little bit and spills off the shot stone. Team Epping had a very long look at this situation, and I think they're feeling pretty good about it. Good opportunity for 2 points right now. If you can get a good draw in and set first and second shot, I think the discussion was exactly where to place it, because if you can find a place to rest this stone, that might give you a chance to get a third stone in there later. You could score 3 in this end. So I think that's what the discussion was about. The draw was obvious. It was just where they wanted to leave it.
Where? Yep. Hard, Pat. Hard, Pat. Just do it. Hold on. Yep, hold on. Yep. Go.
Put it right on the button. Great spot, I think. There's certainly a chance now for Team Epping to get 3. Definitely enough real estate to get another blue one in there. You can see Team Schwaller, they were looking at just guarding the situation to make it very difficult for Team Epping to get another one in. Having a look at that overhead, it's pretty close between the second and third shot stones, the blue and the other red stone. I had thought that it was Team Epping sitting 1-2, but hard to tell. They're trying to carve this red stone over to cover the port. They've shrunk the port for sure, but there is room to come through with a quieter tap way, maybe hack way. As long as you can get through that port and get a good chunk of the blue shot stone, they'll go right onto the back red one and you should score 3 this way. This was an okay looking end for Team Schwaller until Yannick gassed a draw that was supposed to rest in the top 4 or the top 8. Even a top 12 or tight guard would have been good, but he put it into the back of the 12-foot. That gave Matt Cam an opportunity to get the first blue one in for shot stone. Team Epping's followed that up with another blue right on the pin, and now an opportunity to play a quiet half-weight shot through the hole. Will he get by the guard? He won't. It will wreck. So we think it's Team Epping with 2, but we'll wait for the official score to go up by the players. After 4, it could be 3-2 or it could be a tie game. We'll be back in the 5th end.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to Curling Stadium, Martensville International. The score has gone up, and it was just 1 for Team Epping, so they had a chance to get through that port with hack weight, tap things around, and score 3. Instead, it is a 2-2 tie. Now into the second half of the game, the 5th end. Team Schwaller, last rock advantage once again. Center guard goes up from Team Epping. Yannick Schwaller, they call for the draw round. Nicely done by Pablo. John's going to come right on top as well. Quick update on some of the other games. Sun Young Ha of Korea. She is leading Christy Watling 5-1 after 3 ends of play. Daniela Jensch, Lorraine Schneider, they're tied at 3 in the 4th. Nancy Martin taking 2 in the first, 4 more in the second. She's got a 7-1 lead after 4 against Chelsea Carey. Nancy Martin, you might remember her at the Scotties a couple years ago, playing with the legendary Sherry Anderson, now skipping her own rink. Seems like Sherry might be focusing more just on the seniors. She's been doing kind of the both tours, a seniors team, a regular Scotties team over the last few years. A multiple-time Canadian senior and world senior champion. Couple of red rocks in the rings, a blue one sandwiched in between. I think John Epping asking for a draw, perhaps around everything. There's a lot of finish in this ice, so you can definitely get this buried in the back of the button or the back of the 4 area. Try to sit shot stone. They just rub off. Rolls open. They were sweeping it to keep the line straight, to kind of get it, to try to get it around, but they weren't sweeping it too hard at the same time because I think they knew the weight was there, and if they swept too much, it would go too deep. Sven Michel. Second stone thrower for Team Schwaller makes the hit, rolls it towards the center line. Switzerland now sitting first and second behind that John Epping center line guard. Having a look at what to do here. I think they're thinking about making a play in the rings, try to just tap that redstone out, roll the shooter to the side of the 8. Maybe more than a tap, probably a quiet weight hit. You definitely like to move one of the redstones completely out of the rings. Without last rock, you don't want too many redstones hanging around in the rings. They can always come back to bite you. Again, a little bit tight. Clips the guard, doesn't get anything in the rings. Interesting situation for Team Schwaller. As the Hammer team, you never like playing center guards, and the situation is they've got shot and second shot, so a natural call would be to throw up a center, but with Last Rock, you don't really love center guards either, so they're thinking about maybe rearranging some of the rocks in the house, maybe even just throwing another rock into the side of the 8-foot. Fairly lengthy discussion here. They're still mulling it over. They talked about moving some things around in the rings. Now I think they've reverted to throwing a rock into the full 8-foot. Still thinking it over. I think they've settled on the draw. Draw towards the side. They'll probably end up being fourth shot, but the more redstones you have in the rings, the scarier and scarier it gets for Team Epping. Just by having another redstone in the rings, Team Epping might be just forced to hit it, and what you're trying to do is just play very defensively, protect the two redstones you have as shot in second by diverting your opponent's attention to these other rocks that you might throw into the rings. So they're going to the side. Probably can bite the 8-foot at best here, based on the ice they took. Back of the rings is just fine, because if you're at the top of the rings, John could hit and roll into the middle. Really, you've got Team Epping in a little bit of trouble, so it's Team Epping who needs to make a move and rearrange the furniture in the house. Well, Team Epping, they've decided to play a corner freeze on the shot red stone. Don't think they can be shot rock after this, but if you can position it well, it's a setup shot for later. They're going to ignore that open red stone, just because if they hit it, it doesn't really leave them in a very good position. They'll be in the back of the rings, third shot at best, so trying to come right into the middle, bite the 4-foot, the corner frozen on the red. It looks like it might be over curling just a hair. It chips off. Rolls open. Team Schwaller, they can make a hit. The question is where to roll it. If they roll inside, they probably will just run into their own red stone. You could roll away a little bit as well. The only good news for Team Epping right now is their blue stone, that third shot, or the fourth shot stone right now. It's pretty tough for Team Schwaller to remove that and make the red stone that's around the 12-foot of the rings come into play. At least not yet, so Team Epping will have to be careful. If that blue stone, that top 8 blue stone ever becomes accessible for Team Schwaller, Team Epping will have to be very careful. Yannick hits and rolls away. Another rock hanging around in the 12-foot. At this point in time, Team Epping is pretty much resigned to ignoring those rocks in the top 12. There's really no point for him to make a hit on those because your shooter won't end up in a good spot. He's just got to make sure that, once again, that blue stone that's in the top 8 right now never gets dislodged, because that's what's saving him right now from a really big end. Even with that, Team Schwaller's in a good position to take 2 or 3 here. Same shot being called as the last one, hoping for a better result. Last one was a little bit heavy, it chipped off and rolled open. They want this to stay corner frozen on the Schwaller rock. They tap it back a little bit and roll open again. See Matt Cam just in agony. Just a little bit too heavy, and now Yannick Schwaller probably will make a hit and roll to the inside, I think. Yannick Schwaller, the skip, he throws the third stones. His second rock of the 5th end. They talked about hitting and rolling to the inside. I think this is elected to hit and roll to the outside again. That one hangs on in the 12-foot as well, so 6 red stones now in the rings. 1 blue stone in the top 8, which is third shot. getting scarier and scarier. Once again, though, that blue stone is very hard to remove. There's no natural way to remove the one blue stone, so Team Epping not too concerned with those 4 stones around the 12 foot of the rings, but the team is going to have a conference call, get on that Zoom line, and decide what to do about this. Team Schwaller, shot rock, second shot stone, very well protected. With that last shot that Matt Cam made, chipping that redstone further behind the guard, the corner freeze that they were trying to play earlier really isn't there anymore. They can see a piece of the red on the outside, so you can perhaps play a hit, remove one of those redstones. The problem with that is that could leave your blue more exposed. If you remove any of the reds that are right now in the top 4, the top blue rock, your third shot stone, gets more vulnerable. There's more rocks that it can jam on right now. That's what's making it tough for Team Schwaller to remove that blue stone. So some sort of draw is now being called. Well, John gets it into the rings. Chips off his own blue. It is half open. It is in a spot where it is usable for John on his last stone. So Team Schwaller does have to do something about this. They could play a tap and push the blue stone back or even out of the rings. They have to be careful though. There is a guard. It is half buried, so you need to play a quiet wait. Make sure they're get to the nose of the stone. You could just play a guard. Make it so that John can't use that blue stone and promote it on his last stone. If you do that, though, you could just be stuck with 2 points because the scoring area is going to get much, much tighter. It looks like Team Schwaller has decided to make a play on the blue by promoting their red that's in the top 12. I think they must feel this is a safer play, because if you go directly to try to make a soft weight hit in the blue, if you're ever on the wide side, you could just make the shot for John Epping. This way, there's no danger. The only downside to this, it does expose the blue stone that was in the top 8 for John to use, but it also could open up for Team Schwaller to remove it on their last. So Team Epping, once again, has to be very, very careful with their last stone of the 5th end. Team Schwaller, as you can see, shot and second shot. Those 2 rocks in the top of the 4, one biting the button. They've been there since very early in the end. And then 4 more red stones around the rings. Well, I'm sure you're going to see John Epping make a play off their blue. The question is how much weight they're going to play at this. You don't ever want to lose either of your blues because that will lead to a big end. You want to make sure both blues, whatever you do, stay in the rings after all the contact and the dust settles. Without last stone, this is John Epping's last in the 5th end. 2-2 tie. Team Schwaller has last stone advantage. Has Team Epping in a lot of trouble. Blue onto the 2 rocks in the top of the 4. Moves things around. Team Schwaller still with shot stone back of the 4. Is there a double now for a big score? You can definitely make the double. The question is, do those blues spin by all the red stones that are on the left and the right side of the rings? If they do, this could be a really big end. The other option is to draw to the 4-foot for your 2 points. Take a 2-point lead into the 6th end. Big decision here. Obviously, the draw for 2, you expect Benoit to make that 95% of the time, maybe even more. The double you can probably make most of the time too in terms of making contact with both blues. The question is, where do those blues spill after the contact? Will they spill such that they bypass all the red that's in the side back of the rings? If they do, that's the right call. It's very juicy and therefore a big score. They're going to go for it. Really important that Yannick Schwaller, the man in the house, knows where he wants to hit the stone to avoid all the jams. Could be an opportunity for 7 if it all works out. Final stone, Benoit Schwartz. Chance for a double and really break this game wide open. There's the contact. The blues spill out and it's a big score and it is game over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's a score of 7 for Team Schwaller in the 5th, and it is handshakes. What a shot. Benoit Schwartz to end the game. It was a tight affair up until this point, but a really well-constructed end by Team Schwaller. They take it in 5 ends. They even up their record to 1-1. They drop John Epping to 1-1 as well. Well, there are 3 other women's games here at the Curling Stadium. Martensville International ongoing. Go to Curling Zone, click on the YouTube links. But we will be back for one more draw tonight, 8:30 Saskatchewan time. If you're out in Ontario, Eastern time zone, that's 10:30 at night. 9-2 Team Schwaller. On behalf of the entire Curling Stadium crew, Rory McCusker, James Gordon, Jerry Gertz, my name is Jason Chang. We'll see you back on the ice to your device at 8:30 Saskatchewan time.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.